We collapsed the anomaly.
Is that all this meant to you? Just another spatial anomaly, just another day at the office?
Did it work?
Well, you're here, aren't you? You're talking to me, aren't you?
We collapsed the anomaly. Is that all it meant to you? Just another spatial anomaly, another day at the office? Well, you're here, aren't you? You're talking to me. Remember when the Enterprise D glided across your TV like the coolest screensaver in the galaxy? Star Trek. The Next Generation took us deep into the 24th century aboard the Federation's flagship, a ship that wasn't just exploring space, but ideas. Part diplomacy mission, part scientific discovery, and part moral dilemma waiting to unfold every single week. With Patrick Stewart as Captain Jean-Luc Picard, turning intelligence and calm authority into something unforgettable. Jonathan Frakes as Riker, confident, charismatic, and always leaning on something. Brent Spiner as Data, the android searching for humanity in a world that didn't quite understand him. LeVar Burton as Geordi LaForge, seeing the universe in ways no one else could. Marina Sirtis as Deanna Troi, balancing logic with emotion. Michael Dorn as Worf, carrying honor into every scene. And Gates McFadden as Dr. Beverly Crusher, holding it all together in sickbay. Premiering in 1987, the show ran for 7 seasons and 178 episodes, slowly building from a shaky start into one of the most respected sci-fi series of all time. For many of us, this wasn't just Star Trek. This was our Star Trek. So today, we're heading back to the Enterprise D for 15 wild, surprising, and sometimes unbelievable facts you probably didn't know about the Next Generation. Number 15, the Bald Captain Controversy. Gene Roddenberry had a very specific vision for the next captain of the Enterprise. In his mind, it was someone closer to Kirk, bold, traditionally heroic, and definitely not bald. So when Patrick Stewart walked in, a Shakespearean actor from England with no hair and a very different presence, Roddenberry wasn't convinced at all. In fact, Stewart was asked to wear a wig for part of his audition, but when the producers saw him perform without it, something clicked. The authority, the presence, the voice, it all worked. And in that moment, the decision was made. Hire the actor, lose the wig, and redefine what a starship captain could be. Number 14, the iconic theme was a mashup. That opening theme feels timeless, but behind the scenes, it was anything but simple. The intro fanfare came from the original 1960s Star Trek series, composed by Alexander Courage. The sweeping orchestral theme? That was taken from Star Trek, the motion picture written by Jerry Goldsmith. So instead of creating something entirely new, the show combined pieces of its past to build something familiar and powerful. And then there's that famous whoosh sound when the Enterprise flies past. It wasn't a sound effect library. It was Alexander Courage himself making the sound with his voice. Number 13, the transporter effect was just glitter. That iconic transporter beam, the one that made Energize feel real, wasn't digital magic. It was practical effects at their finest. The team used water tanks filled with glitter, metallic dust, and even aluminum particles. Sometimes they dropped in Alka-Seltzer tablets to create bubbling movement. Then they lit it dramatically, filmed it, and layered it over the actors. The result was something organic, constantly shifting and surprisingly believable. No computers, just creativity. Number 12, many episodes were recycled. A surprising amount of the Next Generation didn't start as new ideas. They came from a canceled 1970s project called Star Trek. Phase 2, scripts, character concepts, and storylines were pulled from storage and reworked. Episodes like The Child and Devil's Due were directly adapted. Even the dynamic between certain characters was inspired by earlier versions. Instead of starting from scratch, the show rebuilt from what was already there. Number 11, props were reused everywhere. The futuristic look of the show hit a very practical reality. The production reused a lot of old materials. Props, set pieces, and even equipment from earlier Star Trek projects were repurposed. One of the best examples is the transporter room. The original glass discs from the 1960s series were flipped upside down and mounted in the ceiling. Most viewers never noticed, but it was always there. Number 10, Data was meant to have a girlfriend. In early drafts, Data's story took a very different direction. Instead of an evil twin, The plan was to introduce a female android as his romantic partner. The goal was to explore love and emotion through Data's perspective. But Brent Spiner felt it was too predictable, so he suggested something darker. What if the second android looked exactly like Data, but had emotions? That idea became lore. Unpredictable, dangerous, and far more interesting. Number 9, a role written for Robin Williams. One of the show's most unique characters was originally written for Robin Williams. The role, in a matter of time, was designed to match his fast, energetic, unpredictable style. Williams was interested and wanted to do it, but his schedule, especially filming Hook, made it impossible. So the role went to Matt Frewer, who delivered a performance that still captured that chaotic energy. Number 8, fans would write the show. At one point, The Next Generation opened its doors to the public. Anyone could submit a script. No connections. No agent. Just an idea and a formatted screenplay. Thousands of scripts arrived every year. And unlike most shows, they were actually read. Some even made it to production, proving that fans could contribute directly to the universe they loved. Number 7, Wil Wheaton left because of a lie. Wil Wheaton was given a major opportunity to act in a film. But when he asked for time off, he was told his character was essential to an upcoming episode, so he turned the film down. Later, he discovered the episode had been rewritten without him. The trust was broken, and that moment ultimately led to his decision to leave the show. Number 6, Season 1 was chaos. The first season was anything but smooth. Writers were constantly being replaced. Scripts changed overnight. And one rule made things even harder. Gene Roddenberry believed the crew of the future wouldn't argue or clash. But without conflict, the drama suffered. Episodes felt flat and overly controlled. It wasn't until later seasons, when that rule was relaxed, that the show truly found its voice. Number 5, Q exists because the pilot was too short. The pilot episode needed more runtime. The main story simply wasn't long enough. So a new storyline was added, one that introduced an all-powerful being judging humanity. That being was Q. What started as a simple solution to a timing problem became one of the most important and recurring elements of the series. Number 4, Patrick Stewart expected failure. At the beginning, Patrick Stewart didn't believe the show would succeed. He thought it would be short-lived and quickly forgotten. So he lived simply, keeping his belongings packed and ready to go. But season after season, the show kept growing. And eventually, it became clear this wasn't temporary. It was something much bigger. Number 3, Worf was added at the last minute. Originally, the show avoided familiar alien races. No Klingon, no Vulcans. Everything was meant to feel new. But late in development, that idea changed. Worf was introduced as a Klingon in Starfleet. At first, he barely had a role, and not even a seat on the bridge. But over time, he became central to the show's identity. Number 2, Whoopi Goldberg asked to join. As a child, Whoopi Goldberg was deeply inspired by Star Trek. So when The Next Generation was announced, she didn't wait for an offer. She called the producers herself. At first, they didn't believe it was really her. But once they realized she was serious, they created the role of Guinan specifically for her, a character that added depth, wisdom, and perspective to the series. Number 1, Dr. Crusher was fired and brought back. Gates McFadden's departure after Season 1 was sudden and controversial. Behind-the-scenes disagreements led to her removal, but fans noticed, and so did the cast. There was strong support for her return. By Season 3, she was back on the Enterprise, and her presence helped restore balance to the show. And there you have it, 15 surprising behind-the-scenes facts about Star Trek: The Next Generation. From casting controversies to creative improvisation, it's clear the show we remember wasn't just built on vision. It was built on risk, mistakes, and unexpected decisions that somehow worked. Which fact stood out to you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if this brought back some nostalgia, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the shows we grew up watching. Until next time.